Abigail tells the story of a young couple, Miriam Natias and Jonathan LaFay, who move into an old mansion that LaFay inherited. It takes place in the summer of 1845. Upon their arrival, they are warned by 7 horsemen not to move into the house because if they do, 18 will become 9. They do not heed the warning and proceed to move into the mansion. During their first night, Jonathan meets with Count de LaFay, the family ghost, who is a deceased relative. The ghost shows him a casket in which a corpse of a stillborn child, Abigail, rests. The ghost informs him that Miriam is carrying the spirit of Abigail and that the child will soon be reborn. He insists that Jonathan must kill Miriam at once to prevent the rebirth. The narration then relates the story of what happened to the Count and his wife on 7 July 1777. The Count had discovered his wife had been unfaithful to him and was pregnant with an illegitimate child. Enraged, he pushed the Countess down the stairs, breaking her neck and causing the child to be stillborn. The Count had the body of the Countess cremated, and the stillborn fetus he named Abigail and had mummified and laid to rest in a sarcophagus. The Count, having an inexplicable urge to preserve Abigail for the future. The narration then returns to the summer of 1845, during which Jonathan and Miriam are beset by a range of omens. The church bell rings despite nobody being inside to ring it. Flowers die. Unwholesome stenches fill the house, and in the dining room, the table is discovered set for 3. And the story goes on from there. Too long to read it all, but there's a link in the show notes that will lead you to Wikipedia where you can read it all for yourself. With that said, let's go ahead and get into the episode. Welcome to Disembodied Screams, horror that lives in your soul. Thanks for tuning in, whether on the podcast or on the YouTube channel. Personnel for the album Abigail goes like this. King Diamond on vocals, Andy LaRocque on guitars. There should be something on the screen that has all their names spelled out. Michael Denner on guitars and Tim Hansen on bass. Mickey D is on drums. Songs, this is the part where I kind of go into the songs and then I give it a rating. And songs go like this. You've got Funeral, Arrival, A Mansion in Darkness, The Family Ghost, The 7th Day of July 1777, Omens, The Possession, Abigail, and Black Horseman. And on a scale of 1 to 6, 1 being Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, 6 being Freddy's Nightmares, 5.5, folks. This is a very horrific album from start to finish, and all the songs evoke some kind of horror or some kind of dread, all but probably The 7th Day of July 1777. That may be the only one that doesn't have sort of a horror tone to it on this whole album. Moving on, song titled Deep Dive is The Family Ghost, and it goes like this. The darkness came closer to home on the following night, and Miriam slept like a rock when Jonathan's face went white. The bedroom was ice cold, but the fire was burning still. The blinding light, the family ghost, had risen again by the door. Don't be scared. Don't be scared now, my friend. I am Count de LaFay. Let me take you to the crypt down below where Abigail rests. Let Miriam sleep. She never would understand. Now come, let us go. It's time to know. Beware of the slippery stairs. You could easily fall and break your neck. Hand me that torch and I will lead the way to the secret in the dark. Take a look into the vault, the sarcophagus of a child. Abigail has been in here for years and years, stillborn. The spirit of Abigail is inside your wife, and there's only one way you can stop the rebirth of evil itself. You must take her life now. And the now runs off in parentheses. So that's a song titled Deep Dive. There was multiple ones I could have chosen, of course, for that, but The Family Ghost has a nice haunted house. You know, those old haunted houses that you see in these old Hammer horror movies. They use Hammer a lot, but they do bring a lot of that out. But one of those old ghostly kind of homes, maybe from The Changeling or The Haunting, one of those kind of homes, you know, the floors creak, the stairs creak. It's probably cold at times. There's probably pockets of cold. It's hard to heat, you know. There's a constant thunderstorm all the time outside. It's one of those kind of homes. All right, moving on. Album title, Abigail. Folks, I'm giving this one a 4. And you might say, well, that's not a very horrific sounding title. Maybe to some it's not, but to me, the name Abigail has this sort of ancient vibe to it, this sort of classic vibe to it. It's perfect for the name of a vampire. And when I hear Abigail, I kind of get a little spooky vibe about it. It's a beautiful name. If your name is Abigail, it's a beautiful name, and I love it. Would not hesitate to name my daughter that. We did not name her that, of course, but would not hesitate to name my daughter that. It's a beautiful, beautiful name. But yeah, when I hear the name Abigail, I'm like, just kind of vibe to it for me. I don't know why. So that's why I gave the album a 4. And next up is the album cover, where I kind of dive into the album cover and the way it looks. And this one's got, like, first off, it's got this purplish, bluish tint to it, which already has a horror tone to it. You got a couple of yellow lights above the horsemen there that are kind of creepy, that catch your eye. The horsemen themselves are kind of hunched over and leaning, wear these old-timey clothes, like from the 1800s probably. The horses are bathed in sort of that purplish white light. I think their hooves might have a little red on them. It's obviously a hearse, like an ancient hearse, you know, that's being pulled by these horses, and there's a coffin inside there as well. It's just a really spooky album. Cover draws the eye in really quickly. Even King Diamond's name for the band has a very spooky kind of writing to it as well. So that album cover, folks, is a straight up 6. I think Cattle Decapitations to Serve Man is a 6, and spoiler alert, Humanure is probably getting a 6 too, which is coming up pretty soon. All right, this is the point in time where I add up the songs, the title, and the album cover. So songs were a 5.5, album title was a 4, and the album cover was a 6. Mash all that into a witch's cauldron, stir it up good, pull out what's the sum of all that, and you get a 5.2. On a scale of 1 to 6, being Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood at number 1, Freddy's Nightmares at number 6, this album scores a 5.2. And what I might start doing is going through all my albums and start making a list of how they stack up, and then see who comes out at number 1, who comes out, you know, at the bottom. Maybe at the start of the year, do something like that. And then at the end of the year, see what was the most horrific album that I covered in that year. So it could be something fun to do. All right, that's it. Hope you enjoy what I'm doing here. Thanks for listening. If you have bands you like that have a horror spin, let me know in the comments on Spotify or YouTube. Send an email to songlines@10lines@gmail.com. It's not a horror sounding email address, but that is the correct one. I don't want to start a new one just for this podcast. I've already got that one existing, so I'm going to let it keep living and just keep sending stuff over there. On the podcast, follow. On YouTube, subscribe. And, you know, if you're on YouTube, hit that like button until it screams bloody murder in the middle of the night, and let YouTube know that this dude's doing some pretty good stuff here. All right, that's it. Have a good one, and yeah, be good.